Hi, the name of this Blender video tutorial is ShapeKeyAnimation. Blender allows modelers to animate sub-object vertices using the ShapeKeyAnimation. To demonstrate ShapeKeyAnimation, I have modeled in my Blender scene a shallow green box and two cylinders protruding from it. The red cylinder is large and extends well above the box, and the blue cylinder is small and barely protrudes above the box at all. The object here is to animate the top vertices of the red cylinder downward, while animating the top vertices of the blue cylinder upwards. As you can see, I have also split my 3D viewport into two windows. I'll make the right window Blender's Dope Sheet Editor. The Dope Sheet Editor is really a number of editors built into one. It holds the Actions Editor and the Shape Key Editor. I will select the Shape Key Editor. On the left 3D viewport, I'll select the red cylinder object and go to the Object Data Editor. In the Shapes panel, I'll press the plus sign. This creates what Blender refers to as a bias key. The bias key is locked and it has no controls. I'll click on the plus sign again. This creates a shape key which by default is named Key 1. In the 3D viewport, I'll tab into Edit mode. I'll box select the top vertices of the red cylinder, and I'll move them down along the Z-axis. I'll then tab out of Edit mode. Note that the vertices return to their original position. The movement of the vertices only establishes the extents to how far they will move in shape key number 1. I want the shape key animation to last for 100 frames. So I'll set the length of the overall animation to 100 in the timeline. I now need to insert the shape key keyframes. I'll go to frame number 1, and I'll right-click the Value Controller in the Shape Keys panel and insert a keyframe. Note that I could have right-clicked the Key 1 controller in the Dope Sheet Summary and inserted the keyframe. I'll then go to frame number 100. In frame 100, I'll move the Value slider in the Shape Keys panel to 1.0. This causes the vertices in the red cylinder object to move to their lower position. Also notice that I could have moved the key slider to 1.0 in the Dope Sheet Summary list rather than using the Value slider in the Key Shape panel. I will now right-click the Value slider, or the Dope Sheet Key number 1 slider, and insert a keyframe on frame 100. I'll go back to frame number 1 and play the animation. The red cylinder appears to shrink into the green box over 100 frames. I'll stop the animation, go to frame number 1, and select the blue cylinder object. I'll go to the Object Data Editor and click on the plus sign in the Shape Keys panel, creating a locked bias key. I'll press the plus sign again and create a shape key for the blue cylinder named Key 1. In the 3D editor, I'll tab into Edit mode and select the top vertices of the blue cylinder object. I'll move these vertices up along the Z-axis. I'll then tab out of Edit mode. With the timeline set at frame number 1, I'll right-click the Value Controller in the Shape Keys panel and insert a keyframe on frame number 1. I'll then set the timeline to frame 100. I'll change the Value slider in the Shape Keys panel from 0 to 1.0. Then I'll right-click and add a keyframe for frame number 100 for the Shape Key 1 on the blue cylinder object. I'll then go back to frame number 1 and play the animation. As the red cylinder shrinks into the green box, the blue cylinder grows out of the box.